This is a Ceng1000 midterm project by Yat Ping, student ID 20905373. And today I'm going to talk about the vegetable oil production. This is the content page. We definitely need oil for cooking. Then, before the invention of vegetable oil, what oil do we use? The answer is animal oil. It's the oil extract from animals by rendering their fat tissues. That's what people mainly used before the 20th century. It smells good, it's easy to obtain even for individuals like us. But why is using animal fat an issue? Study shows that animal oil usually contains a higher level of saturated fat. You can see that lard contains 36% of saturated fat, while olive oil only contains 1/3 of it. But what's wrong with high percentage of saturated fat? The answer is, it may get you heart diseases. Study shows that excessive intake of saturated fat will lead to a rise in LDL cholesterol level. It is a bad cholesterol which may lead to a higher chance of getting a heart attack. While other forms of fat, for example, monosaturated fats, will help us maintain a good HDL cholesterol level. This statistic seems to tell us to stop using animal oil. But then, oil is essential for cooking. Where else to get oil? Here's a bit of history. In 1950s, scientists started to notice that the saturated fats in lard would cause heart diseases. So then, restaurants and food manufacturers start to stop using lard. And then the demand of non-animal oil rises, which lead to the rise of vegetable oil. The ingredient of the oil, which is usually the seed of the plant, such as peanuts or olives or other things, is grinded or crushed. And then we process the oil extraction process using different methods. We will talk about it later. And then the extracted oil will go through RBWD process, which is refining, bleaching, wintering, and deodorizing. The first process, grinding. No matter which ingredient or which extraction method you use, grinding is involved. Slow grinding will prevent the oil from overheating. We all know the physics tell us when pressure increases, the temperature will also increase. That's why we need slow grind. If the oil gets overheated, it will destroy some of the amino acid inside, which can possibly create toxic chemicals and reduce the nutrition value of the oil. Here comes to the part of oil extraction. There are 4 ways to extract vegetable oil commercially. 1 is cold pressed. 2nd is expeller pressed. 3rd is solvent extracted. And 4 is carbon dioxide extracted. Here comes the cold press method. This method is simply pressing the grinded ingredient to obtain the oil. However, the temperature during the process is monitored to be below 49 degrees Celsius. Using this method, the oil produced have better quality than normal hot press, as the acids are not destroyed. But actually, some oil cannot be produced by this method, so it's a drawback. There's some extra fat. First, cold press oil have better quality and do not need the RBWD process later on. Here comes the expeller press method. It's the most original extraction method, which is press the ingredient to extract its oil, not regarding its temperature. The benefit is during the press it creates a high temperature which helps the extraction of the oil and made a product yield very high. But then, as we talked before, the high temperature may destroy the acids and create toxic materials and reduce the nutrition value of the oil. Here comes the solvent extracted method. As the name said, this method uses chemical solvent that is mixable with oil to extract the oil from the grinding ingredient. It's the easy method to extract oil, which is cost efficient to the factories. But then common solvents such as hexane is toxic, and it needs high temperature to remove the solvent. First, will destroy the structure of the amino acid in the oil. Here comes the perfect method. Supercritical carbon dioxide extracted. Supercritical carbon dioxide is an organic solvent, which is the perfect solvent for extracting oil. This method works as same as normal solvent extraction method. Since CO2 just evaporate in normal pressure, the removal of solvent do not need to heat up the oil, so the nutrition value of the oil is kept. But then it's like relatively expensive as you need to maintain high pressure and then compress the collected evaporated CO2 again into liquid and put it back into the cycle. Here come the RBWD processes, where R stands for refining, B stands for bleaching. Refining. The factory uses different methods in order to remove the particulate by filtering the oil and remove phospholipid, which is inconvenient for further processing. Bleaching. Bleaching is done by adding bleaching clay to oil in order to remove the pro-oxidant in the oil to allow the final product to be used for a longer period of time, and second, make the oil looks more transparent so that it looks better. The W in RBWD stands for wintering, which is the coating of the oil to filter away materials with high freezing point such as wax, but it's not necessary to every oil. For example, extra virgin olive oil do not need the process. And finally, the D stands for deodorizing. There are excess components such as vitamins, proteins, fragments, which affect the taste of the oil before deodorizing, so the factory will remove them to keep the oil taste clean. This is the discussion part. Is vegetable oil really good? Yeah, we often hear of that this olive oil is very good for your health. For example, the extra virgin olive oil is rich in disease-fighting antioxidants and have a good amount of vitamin E and K, which is all good for health. Meanwhile, if you think about it carefully, that vegetable oil is not necessarily good. Remember, what's actually bad in lard is the saturated acid. Look at the table on the right. There are 3 vegetable oils that have significantly more percentage of saturated fat than lard, which is the coconut butter, palm kernel oil, and coconut oil. If lard is so bad to health, then these 3 vegetable oils should be even worse at causing heart diseases. Concerns about vegetable oils have been raised. Scientists do research on multiple vegetable oils and found most of them have a main component of linoleic fatty acid, which may increase the rate of cancer spreading. This makes the problem of how vegetable oil is healthy very questionable. Here comes my personal opinion on vegetable oil and animal oil. I would prefer animal oil, especially lard, over vegetable oil. Although vegetable oil have high nutrition value as mentioned, extra virgin olive oil have a lot of antioxidant. The amount of oil used is too little per meal. That eating supplement will be more effective than using a better oil. So I prefer taste. Animal oil generally tastes better in my point of view. When they are cold, it smells so much better and tastes much better than vegetable oil. That's of course also due to the fact that I'm a meat eater. Also, animal oil are homemade friendly. You can just make any animal oil, you just buy the meat of that animal, you put it in air fry machine or you just coat it yourself. The oil will be obtained and you can reuse it to coat other dishes such as vegetables. Conclusion. Chemical engineers have found a way to solve the problem. That is replacing lard with vegetable oil. Improving the solution, which is develop new ways of extracting methods such as solvent extracting over and over. For example, the improve of solvent extracting method from using CO2 to extract. Yet time passes, new challenges appear. chemical engineer may have to find new solution to the raised concern about vegetable oils or find another healthier substitute to replace it.